Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So the overnight session, we saw that the market broke below that 45 quarter to 47 support, which resulted in a test of 1940, which was the next support zone. And at this point, we're seeing a little bit of responsive buying at that support zone right now. But given the fact that we sold off on above average volume and sliced through the support over here, which was pretty important, I think that there could still be more selling left in this market. And this initial resistance zone, 45 to 47.5, is the key inflection point on the upside. And even if we're going to take this zone out to the upside, I think the first test of it will still attract sellers, and at the very minimum, we'll get rotation off of this zone. On the downside, we have this pre-market support zone that's already been tested, and again, given the high volume selling, I think we are going to head lower and test the 36.5 to 38.5 initial support. Now, bigger picture, we are still in a balance, right? So it's not like this market is now turning into a downtrend. The uptrend is still intact. Overall, buyers are still going to maintain control here, but we could get a little bit of a pullback to find those buyers, right? We could probe below this recent low at the initial support zone, find responsive buyers there, or even go down to 33 to 34.5 and then put in a bigger reversal back up to 45 to 47.5. So the main idea on the day is that off the open, we know that short term, based on the overnight session, the sellers are in control below 45 to 47.5. So in the event that we kind of just move up here to 45, 47.5 without testing lower, this could be a good short setup, looking for a pullback to 39.75 to 40.75 and 36.5 to 38.5. Now, if the market's really strong, we may not get to 36.5 to 38.5, but again, given the fact that the overnight selling happened on pretty decent volume, I think it's pretty high odds that this initial support zone will get tested today. So when we go back up here, if it happens to be right off pre-market support, this could still be a good short setup. And again, at the very minimum, even if it's not going to work, even if the zone's going to get taken out, I do expect some profit taking over here and some rejection on first test. On the downside, we'll look to buy 36.5 to 38.5. We are going to have to time it a bit. Because of the overnight selling, it doesn't have to reverse off of this zone. But the good thing is that we're seeing above average volume, and when we're getting some decent volume in the market, even if the zone's eventually going to fail, it usually gives you a tradable reaction. So when we come down to 36.5 to 38.5, even if the zone's not going to work eventually and we're going to probe lower, the first test I think is still going to give you some edge and give you a rotation back up towards the 1940 to 41 area. And then if this zone can be taken out, then we'll know that we have a decent long setup on our hands, and we can target 45 to 47.5 as an exit. In the event that we probe lower than 36.5, this next zone is still a good buy. 33 to 34.5 is still a good long setup, and we can get a pretty decent rejection and reversal off of the zone. So we will look to buy this zone as well. And on the upside, the target over here will be 39.75 to 40.75, followed by the final objective at 45 to 47.5. And then if the market is really strong, we could go up and fill the gap today at 50.5. That would be the final objective if the zone gets taken out and there's enough strength in this market to take out the zone, then 50.5 would be in play. So overall, the market still remains in balance, right? Short term, there's some weakness here, and we could get more selling, but bigger picture, the uptrend is still intact, and that's why I expect buyers to step in at every support zone on the way down, and then eventually put in a bigger reversal back up to 45 to 47.5. So those are the main ideas on the day. Let's see if the sellers are able to maintain that control off the open below 45 to 47.5, and then look for buyers to step in at these lower support zones.